So I'm going to pat myself on the back here for a second, because the fact of the matter is we were calling this out before almost anybody. I was sensing that there truly was a vibe shift and there truly was a radicalization moment among standard run-of-the-mill liberals and Democrats, where I had never seen it in my lifetime. I remember back in 2016 in the Bernie versus Hillary trench wars, it really felt like us Bernie people were fighting an uphill battle. We were fucking pissing into the wind, right? And it felt like you had this big blob of, establishment Democrats and normie Democrats who they weren't quite getting it yet. You know what I'm saying? They felt like, no, the establishment's got our back and Hillary's the one and she's got the experience and yada, yada, yada. And at the time, it really, it was a lonely feeling. I mean, you found camaraderie with your fellow Bernie supporters, but it felt like the rest of the Democratic base was just sort of lagging behind and they weren't quite up to date yet with what they should have known, right? And so fast forward to today, they fucking all get it now, bro. Like, they all get it. The second Trump got back into the White House and he launched a scam crypto coin and robbed his own supporters, and he opened up concentration camps and sent innocent people there, and he started bombing Yemen and Somalia and fucking Iran, and he launched an unnecessary trade war, and he kicked 17 million people off Medicaid. Something broke in the mind of the normie liberals and Democrats where they said, never fucking again. Where they said, I will do anything and everything to prevent this shit from continuing. And so that's when you saw, the Democrats of yesteryear are no longer in favor. Bill Clinton, kick rocks. Hillary Clinton, kick rocks. Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, piss off. Nancy Pelosi, go away. Like this was their feeling, is the old guard let us down. So we need some new blood. We need a new ideology. And they looked around and they saw who's fighting. Bernie Sanders is fighting. AOC is fighting. Tim Walz is fighting. Jasmine Crockett is fighting. Al Green is fighting. And they got this laundry. Hey, here are these people who are really standing up and really puffing their chest out and going, oh, we're going to war now, dog. And so in step the worst of the worst issues, which is what? The genocide in Gaza. You had Biden, who armed and funded the genocide in Gaza and didn't apply pressure regardless of what the propaganda was. He let Netanyahu get away with whatever the fuck he wanted to get away with. And what did he get out of it, by the way? He got Netanyahu who spit in his eye and bear hugged Trump. Okay? So that's point number one. But then point number two is, now Netanyahu is out of the closet as a fucking MAGA Trump guy, big right winger, right? And that was, from a strategic perspective on Netanyahu's part, man, was that a big fucking fail? Because now you've given just regular run-of-the-mill Democratic voters in the U.S., you've given them double ammunition on top of you committing a genocide and it being fucking live streamed. It's also now just a partisan thing too, because you're basically a Republican, you're basically a MAGA guy. And so it was like everybody woke up on the Democratic side at the same time. And all the Democratic voters realized, oh shit, I think the left was right about fucking everything. And so now here we are, and a good, barometer of how your average normie Democrat is feeling would be the Pod Save guys. Because the Pod Save guys, remember, a lot of them worked for Barack Obama back when he was president. And, they certainly have more of like a normie vibe than certainly we do. But listen to the way they sound now on Israel is exactly how your rando Democratic voter in fucking Cleveland sounds, right? It's like only 8% of the Democratic base still likes Israel. 8%. What does that say? That says it's a new era. So listen to what they say about this issue. This is crazy.
And I don't think Democratic candidates should take money from AIPAC or vote to fund military support for Israel anymore. Like, I really don't. In this government, absolutely not. And that especially includes, I think, the next Democratic nominee for president.
Things I want to see Democrats at least calling for is cutting off military assistance to Israel. Yep. It's a rich country, by the way. They don't need our $3 billion a year. And hands up, right? Barack Obama signed a 10-year MOU for $3.3 billion a year. So we're part of the problem here. Mm-hmm. Let's correct it. I would like to see talk about sanctioning Israeli government officials who use genocidal rhetoric or who talk about ethnic cleansing openly. We should support a ceasefire resolution at the UN. We should demand that international press be allowed into the Gaza Strip to report on what's happening without an IDF minder. It's insane. The press still can't go into Gaza and cover over what's happening. And I also think like there has to be a total mindset change in the Democratic Party. When the war ends, we are not going back to the pre-October 7th status quo because it's not where the party is. It's not where the world is. We're not going to shovel billions a year in military aid. We're not going to veto every effort to recognize a Palestinian state at the UN. We should not take money from AIPAC. And like I will hold out hope for better political leadership in the US and in Israel. But we have to also recognize that the Biden era hug Bibi Netanyahu strategy has to be thrown in the trash can for fucking ever. Netanyahu is a bad actor. He's continuing a war for political purposes. He bombs Lebanon when he wants to. He bombs Iran when he wants to. He bombs Syria when he wants to. This is not a partner we can count on. This is not someone who is like leading to calm and stability in the region, which should be a core interest.
Like at this point, cutting off military funding for a government that is starving 2 million people and advertising how they're ethnically cleansing the Palestinians seems like the least we can do.
Especially if we're going to head into a primary, like table stakes is going to be no more military aid for Israel. So there will have to be a shift. And I do think that will mean putting far more pressure on Israel. And that's what I think Democrats want. By the way, that's what the country wants. And when you poll Israelis, they say they want a fucking ceasefire. Israelis want the hostages.
This very last part is cope. This is cope.
Returned through a negotiated settlement. And by the way, that's the way in which the vast majority of hostages who were returned were able to be returned.
All of that was great, except that last part where he was pretending like, oh, the Israeli population doesn't really like this. Let's be serious. We've seen the polls. Only 4% of the Israeli population said the IDF went too far, and that was already months into the genocide. And then you have an overwhelming majority, 70, 80%, something like that, support ethnic cleansing. A majority support literal genocide, where when they explain, like, hey, do you have a right to kill everybody in a village after you fucking take over the village? They say yes. Like, that's cool. But everything else was fucking great. Everything else was great. And this is the point, man. This is where every Democratic voter is now. Every Democratic voter is at least where they are. And by the way, I don't think it'll take much to get them to where I am, which is cut off all the money to Israel, cut off all the weapons to Israel, condemn them at the UN, sanction the government officials, bring them up on war crimes charges and fucking arrest them, force a peace deal on them, and broker a deal for Palestinian liberation and sovereignty. I no longer care what they think. I no longer care about their side of the story. There will be a deal forced on them. And then beyond that, let's be serious here. If there's not reciprocity and they don't go along with those things I just said, the bottom line is we should go through the UN and we should, in a multilateral way, decide we are going in there and militarily stopping you from doing what you're doing to the Palestinians. Because this is if you ever want to talk about an argument for regime change, it would be when they're starving babies to death right in front of our fucking eyes. It would be when, I don't care what the official numbers are. It's minimum 180,000 people killed, 90% of which are innocent civilians. 90% of Gaza, the buildings are just leveled. It's just all fucking rubble now. If there was ever an argument ever for regime change, it's now. The difference is I don't want to do it unilaterally. I would want to go through the UN, have everybody agree, and then it's, okay, if you don't agree to these terms, we're just going to militarily overthrow you. That's what's going to happen, right? And the US should be on that side. Yeah, I know Israel has nukes. We have bigger ones, right? So please, fucking spare me with, this is where we really need to go. I mean, these people need to be locked up. They need to be in The Hague. They need to never fucking see the light of day again. We need new Nuremberg trials. But my point is, this is where your average Democrats are now. And for anybody who's skeptical, listening to guys like this about what they're saying, you need to understand something. This is way different than all the right-wing hacks who were pretending for a day and a half to be so pissed about Trump not releasing the Epstein files that they seemingly turned on him for a half a day. This is not like that. Because those guys were lying. Those guys were full of shit. Those guys found their way immediately back into the loving arms of Trump. Whether it be Tim Dillon saying, oh, if Trump releases it, he's afraid they're going to kill him. Or whether it be Alex Jones saying, the Democrats actually changed the Epstein files and that's why Trump can't release them. They always, or the people who are blaming Pam Bondi and not Trump. This is different. Why do I say that? Because these people are liberals. They're not conservatives, right? They're like, let's be serious here. Liberals are more serious people, right? Liberals are more honest people. They just are. The conservatives are fucking, they're gonzo. MAGA is just gone, like insanely gone, right? Like these people to this day, it's like 70 to 80% of the conservative base still supports Israel. Today. Starving babies, killing UN workers, bombing hospitals, bombing schools, sniping people in the face, like just fake aid sites where they lure them there, kill them, and then try to ethnically cleanse the rest. 70 to 80%. So they're done. They're gone. It's not the same. So that's what you need to understand. When people say, oh, take yes for an answer, I say take yes for an answer when it comes to anybody left of center. And these guys are left of center. We've had our issues with them in the past. You know, the Bernie wing versus, you know, the Hillary wing or the Obama wing or the Biden wing or whatever the fuck you want to call it, the more centrist-y wing. But a lot of the centrists, certainly guys like this, and certainly the voters, they mean it. They mean it. Now, it's a different story, I think. I'm curious what you guys think. But when you talk about these, like, craven politicians who are, like, rushing in now to try to cover their ass. So, like, you know, Barack Obama finally released a fucking statement. And it's like, we're 2 years in, bro. We're 2 years in. You couldn't say something like month 2. You had to wait fucking 2 years to say, hey, genocide is bad. Really? You know, Hillary Clinton did the same thing. Hakeem Jeffries released some bullshit both sides statement, but still clearly trying to cover his ass and acknowledge that people are being starved, right? So it's different when it comes to the, like, craven politicians who are just trying to do, like, reputation damage control, right? But among guys like this and Democratic voters, no, there's a reason why the polls are what they are. Like, this is going to be, somebody made a great point online. They said a Democratic voter can trump the Democratic Party, and they can come in there in the 2028 primary and just be like, all in, pro-Palestine, anti-Israel, anti-genocide, calling everybody around them AIPAC puppets, saying there's a reason why they're not telling you the truth. There's a reason why they're sitting back and watching babies starve to death and they're not lifting a finger. You could have a Democratic, like an actual Democratic candidate, just trounce the field by going all in on that issue, right? And that's an opportunity. That's an opening to actually make this country a better place and to actually fix the problems and to actually stop the fucking carnage and the devastation and the death. And it's all because the Democratic base has been radicalized in real time by the second Trump regime and the horrors that it brought. And that is very, very welcome. It is. It's very welcome. When you have standard run-of-the-mill liberal Democrats sounding like fucking, you know, flame-throwing lefties, we are getting closer to true unity, and we're getting closer to where we need to be, which is a place where a Democratic leader and a Democratic president is a lot fucking more like FDR and a lot less like Bill Clinton, right? That's the big thing. We want FDR Democrats. We don't want Bill Clinton Democrats. And we're getting to a place where the next one will be an FDR Democrat. So that is absolutely positive. So pod save, guys, torching Israel, completely and utterly done with their shit. You love to see it. All right, guys, that's the show, y'all. I love you very much. You guys know the drill. Everybody, please click like. Please subscribe. That helps out big time and costs you nothing. It helps spread the videos through the algorithms. Or algorithms. I don't know why I made that plural. Algorithm. And you guys can support the show if you'd like on Patreon. That link is below. $2 a month goes a long way. $5 a month or whatever. If you want to do a one-time thing, you can tip with that thanks button on YouTube. Remember, I only ask because I never talk to advertisers. I've never done an ad read. I've never taken money from a billionaire or a government or anything like that. You know, you guys fund this show from the ground up, and we have the default ads on YouTube, and that's all we do. Very proud of that. So if you'd like to hook a brother up, I'd deeply appreciate that. You could also sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link is below. And you could go subscribe to the YouTube channel Corin's World, because we're posting Kyle and Corin episodes over there. And we do it live. We're trying to do it live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely go subscribe over there and check it out. You're not going to want to miss it. It's actually a real fun time. And people send in super chats and shit. And we just, you know, chill for about 2 hours or so. So definitely check that out. All right, guys. I love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.